ਜ਼ਾਲਮ ਜਾਬਰ ਮੁਗਲਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਦਵਾਇਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਦਿਆਂ ਤੂਫਾਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਜ਼ਮਾਇਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ। ਜ਼ਾਲਮ ਜਾਬਰ ਮੁਗਲਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਦਵਾਇਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਦਿਆਂ ਤੂਫਾਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਜ਼ਮਾਇਆ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ। ਹੋਣਾ ਕੀ ਦਸਮੇਸ਼ ਪਿਤਾ ਜਦ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਨਾ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ 'ਚ ਪੰਥ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਢਾਵੇ ਢੇਰੀ ਨਾ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ 'ਚ ਪੰਥ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਢਾਵੇ ਢੇਰੀ ਨਾ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ 'ਚ
टॉप टेबल से जो चीफ गेस्ट है वो आके सजणगे तो उस तो बाद जो प्रोग्राम है वो आरंभ होगा। प्रोग्राम के आरंभ होने तो पहला बर्मिंघम गुरुद्वारा काउंसिल के चेयरमैन ओपनिंग एड्रैस देंगे तो उस तो बाद नैशनल एंथम होगा तो उस तो बाद प्रधानमंत्री उन्होंने स्पीच होगी। I would like to thank Bibi Gurdev Kaur and her crew, Sikh Nari Manch, for delivering and presenting the Shabad on this great Vaisakhi occasion. The formal program will now commence very shortly. Whilst the chief guest is arriving, the other guests will be taking their seats on the stage. And shortly, we will have the chairman of the Council of Sikh Gurdwaras arriving at the stage to deliver his opening address. And after that, we will have the national anthem from the children. And whilst the national anthem is being sung, the Prime Minister will be on the stage with ourselves, joining us in the national anthem. When the national anthem is being sung, I would request all members of the congregation to rise and stay rise till the anthem is over, and likewise our guests will remain standing also. ਜਦੋਂ ਦੇਸ਼ ਸਭਾ ਪ੍ਰਮੁਖ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਉਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਖੜੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਖੜੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਮੁਕੰਮਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਮੁਕੰਮਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਦੀ ਸਪੀਚ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ। So at this moment in time, there may be a couple of minutes pause just to allow sufficient time for our guests to arrive on the stage. Then I will call upon the chairman to deliver his opening address, and then the proceeding formally will commence there onwards. Thank you very much. खालसा जी। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। दास यूके दी संगतां दा, यूके के गुरुद्वारियां दा बहुत ही ऋणी है जिन्होंने बैसाखी 300 साल खालसे दे इस दिवस से बहुत बढ़ चढ़ के सिंफनी सैलीब्रेशन कमेटी का गुरुद्वारा सिख काउंसिल बर्मिंघम का साथ दिता। असी कामयाब हुए हाँ 24-25 के जो प्रोग्राम सन उन्होंने सक्सैसफुल किया है। तुसी संगतां ने आप सारे ने मेरे पास लफ्ज नहीं हैं, दास्ते पर लफ्ज नहीं हैं जिस नाल आप सारिया ही संगतां का धन्यवाद कर सके। तुसी बहुत ही सोहना साथ दिता है तो दास आस करता है आउंदे समय दे विच इस तरह ही तुसी साडा साथ देंदे रहोगे। साध संगत जीओ कुछ वर्ड आप इंग्लिश में बोलने ने जो साडे गैसट आए हुए हैं उन्होंने वास्ते। सो वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। ऑनरेबल लॉर्ड मेयर, parliamentarians, councillors and guests, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you all here today at Symphony Hall, Birmingham. This celebration has been once a lifetime chance for all of us to review what Sikhism is about. In 1699, the 10th Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave the Sikh the Khalsa code of life and visible uniform on that day of Vaisakhi. This great event resulted to the formation of the Khalsa. The Guru Gobind Singh Ji instructed the Khalsa to defend the weak and the oppressed, whatever their race, religion or creed. Even in today's turbulent world, we still see suffering and conflicts, which make the message even more important for all of us. It is one of human kindness, tolerance and mutual respect. Many significance, many sacrifices have been made to uphold the protection of religions, social and human rights. No words of mine can express the brilliance of those teachings which are rooted in the philosophy of Sikhism funded by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who was born in 1469. I would like to acknowledge Birmingham City Council staff who supported this Symphony celebration, the emergency services, the defense services for their tremendous display, and the media for their contribution. Above all, I would also like to acknowledge the wider community for their participation in making this Vaisakhi celebration a success. I hope today's event will further strengthen our multi-faith society. Ladies and gentlemen, प्यारे साथ संगतियों, साडे यूके दे यूनाइटेड किंगडम के प्राइम मिनिस्टर टोनी ब्लेयर एंड मिसिस ब्लेयर साडे नाल ज्वाइन होंगे। आपां सारे ने उन्होंने वेलकम करना है। सो साथ संगतियों, जिथे आपां मेहनत के नाल ये जो विसाखी के प्रोग्राम ने ਇਹ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ 300 ਸਾਲਾ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਵਸ 'ਤੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਟਾਈਮ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੋਰਟੇਜ ਹੋਣ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਇੰਨਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਨ, ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਈਂ ਅਚੀਵ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਦੇਣ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਹੀ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਬੋਲਬਾਲਾ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਨੇ 1699 ਵਿੱਚ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਦੀ ਪਿਓਰ ਬੌਂਡਸ, ਆਪ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਆਪਾਂ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਬਣਨਾ ਹੈ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਲੇ ਬਣਨਾ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੰਤ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਿਪਾਹੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੈ। ਨਾਓ I am very pleased to welcome our guest of honors at this historical convention, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Tony Blair, MP. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure now to present our local school children to perform the Sikh anthem, Deshava Varmohega.
Shiva,
I would like to thank and appreciate the efforts of all our young people and that of Professor Amar Singh for this choir, ਦੇ ਸ਼ੁਭਾਰੰਭ ਹੋਏ ਹਨ। ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਅਮਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। This year, Sikhs all over the world and in Britain are celebrating Vaisakhi, marking the formation of the Khalsa month 300 years ago, which gave Sikh a new collective identity based on the remarkable history of the preceding era of the great Sikh gurus in the medieval India. The Vaisakhi 69 gave us a new vision, social and religious order. Now it gives me a great pleasure and it's a great privilege and honor to invite the Prime Minister, Right Honourable Tony Blair, MP, to address this historic gathering on the Vaisakhi Day. The Prime Minister. Please welcome the Prime Minister.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ka Fateh. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a tremendous honor for me and a privilege to join you in celebrating the 300th anniversary of the founding of the Khalsa. And it is indeed on the 2nd of May, 2 years to the day, that I went to Buckingham Palace and became Prime Minister of this country. My friends, this I know is just one of the many celebrations happening up and down the country throughout the year. I'm pleased also that other members of the government, other members of Parliament have been able to take part in these celebrations. Jack Straw attended an event in the Royal Albert Hall in London last Sunday, at which the Prince of Wales was also present. Other members of Parliament, including of course our two Sikh MPs, Biara Singh Kabra and Marsha Singh, have been joining in other celebrations up and down the land. These celebrations have been magnificent. Exhibitions at the Victoria and Albert Museum, weekend festivals here in Birmingham, television programs, street processions. In Southall, there is a magnificent new Sikh Gurdwara being built, and I know many people in this audience will have visited Anandpur in Punjab this year to take part in the celebrations there. I am proud that Britain is home to the largest number of Sikhs outside of the Punjab. Almost 500,000 live in communities from Southall to Cardiff, from Glasgow to Leeds, from Coventry to Gravesend, and of course here in Birmingham. The Sikh community is a vital part of British life. In every walk of life, in business, culture, the legal profession, you are adding to the strength of Britain. I want to pay tribute to the Council of Sikh Gurdwaras in Birmingham, which has done so much to foster an appreciation of the Sikh way of life in the wider community. The events which have been organised through April and May have been superb and will greatly have enhanced the lives of those in the community. And from what I have read, the anniversary we celebrate today is of a great moment in the history of democracy. For the community born under Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, was based on throwing off the caste system and doing away with all forms of hierarchy. It was a profoundly classless and egalitarian philosophy. From then on, all Sikhs took the name of Singh, or women became equal with men and took the name Kaur or princess. Yours is an inspiring vision. Inderjit Singh, whose wise words I often hear on Today programme's Thought for the Day, has written, and I quote, "Sikhism is about achieving a balance between having independence and self-respect and living and sharing equally with others. The founding principles are equality, a just social order for all, tolerance of others and other religions, earning a living through honest labour, hospitality, sharing one's fortune with those less fortunate. Those values are as powerful and relevant today as they were 300 years ago, and long may they live on in your community and in our society." The idea of mutual tolerance and respect is at the heart of your beliefs. And today, here in Britain and in the wider world, it is a timely message. In Britain, it is our ambition to create a modern civic society for all for today's world, to renew those bonds of community that bind us together. That society is based on shared values, rights and duties which go together, tolerance and respect for diversity. We work hard to provide opportunity for the young, whether it is enhancing education or giving hope to those that are unemployed. In return, we demand responsibility, proper conduct, law-abiding behaviour. We stand up for our racial and our cultural diversity. We fight against discrimination and violence. We value our differences and respect each other's background, ethnic and religious. It is a vision for the 21st century. My vision of a society free from prejudice, but not free from rules. We need order and stability in our society, and we are prepared to fight for it. But it is an order based on decent values, a stability anchored in mutual respect and tolerance for differences. And I say to you that when one section of our community is under attack, we defend them in the name of all the community. So when those evil bombs attack the black community or the Asian community in Britain, they attack the whole of Britain. When the gay community is attacked and innocent people are murdered, all the good people of Britain, whatever their race, their lifestyle, their class, unite in revulsion and determination to bring the evil people to justice. And I thank our police, in particular the Metropolitan Police under the leadership of Paul Condon, for the way they have responded with vigour and resolution. Because when we respond in this way, we are doing more than simply bringing killers to justice. We are defending what it truly means to be British in our society today. In the past, patriotism, national identity, was defined by some by reference to those excluded. Nationalism, in this sense, can be dangerous. You have to come from one colour, one religion, one ethnic background, as opposed to others. Today, however, we can take pride in an identity, limited by the geography of the country, but within that country, our country here in Britain, open to all, whatever their color, whatever their religion, whatever their ethnic background. We celebrate our diversity. We recognize it brings us strength and teaches us the true patriotism, the patriotism that enriches and unites our nation rather than divides it. And the true outcasts today, the true minorities, those truly excluded, are not the different races and religions of Britain, but the racists, the bombers, the violent criminals who hate that vision of Britain and seek to destroy it. They are they shall not win, because the great, decent majority of British people will not let them win. We will defeat them, and then we can build the tolerant, multiracial Britain the vast majority of us want to see. That society indeed free from prejudice, but not free from rules. And my friends, as we fight injustice and intolerance in Britain, so in Kosovo today, we fight ethnic cleansing and racial genocide. The values we are fighting for there are the same values. The right to live in freedom from fear, whatever your race or religion. When defenseless people are butchered by Milosevic in Kosovo, young men murdered, women violated, it is an outrage against the very values of humanity which are the world's only salvation. We must act to stop it. We must continue the action in the Balkans until those people, driven from their homes, are allowed to return in peace and security to their homeland. Then, let any other dictator who tries to suppress a people on the grounds of their race or religion know that when we take a stand, we will not yield until the battle is won. Every day, every night, our armed forces are risking their lives in defense of those values, and they have our full support. And we know, as with the bus that was hit a couple of days ago, innocent people whom we have no wish to harm are casualties also in this conflict. But I do ask, when we report these incidents where NATO has acted in error, let us never forget, unseen by television cameras, often unreported, are the most appalling acts of brutality, far worse than anything we could do, and done deliberately by Milosevic and his forces, slaughtering innocent Kosovo Albanians in their thousands. A few days ago, at Jakovica, 300 men separated from their families and massacred. In Podejevo, corpses lying in the street, thousands killed in surrounding villages. A group of people in transit from Podejevo to Pristina stopped 150 men taken from the convoy and executed. Day in, day out, these horrors are happening. And as the Sikh teaching tells us, we must never refrain from righteous acts, whatever their cost. That is why I thank the Sikh community, just as I thank other communities in Britain, for supporting this war and uniting behind our values. British values, the values indeed of the Sikh community. It is that belief that is echoed by the Guru Gobind Singh when he says, recognize the human race as one. Recognize it indeed as one. We know we have a long way in Britain to go, and elsewhere, before this vision is realised. If nothing else, here in Britain, the case of Stephen Lawrence has taught us that. But in describing the journey still to go, we can take hope from the distance already travelled. We have time and history and all the good forces of humanity on our side. So today, here, we celebrate the creation of a nation whose temples open up to all, rich and poor, male and female, old and young. We celebrate your religion, a religion that respects all other religions. And we celebrate you, a people who seek to lead a life of compassion, humility, piety, justice. My friends, it has been indeed my honour to take part in these celebrations. I wish you well, I wish you a wonderful future, I wish you a great day of celebration. Wahi Guru Ji Ka Khalsa, Wahi Guru Ji Ki Fateh.
We would like to thank the Prime Minister in his sixth time, and I would like to stress the Chairman, the General Secretary, and Vaisakhi to honour the Prime Minister by presenting a ceremonial sixth award, which stands for the cause which the Prime Minister has outlined just a minute ago. Thank you very much. The Chairman, the General Secretary, and Vaisakhi will present ceremonial sword as an honour, as a symbol of great honour from Sikhism to the Prime Minister.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. I would like to thank the Prime Minister, Tony Blair, MP, for joining us here today. We are delighted that you were able to share our Vaisakhi celebrations with us despite your busy schedule. I am sure all the Sikhs appreciate your support at this important time in our calendar. As you know, the Kirpan sword is one of the 5 Ks carried by the Khalsa, which symbolizes modesty, dignity, and spiritual restraint. The Kirpan is the last resort in protecting the weak or defending a cause, and is a reminder for the Sikh teachings never to refrain from righteous acts, whatever the costs. I now call upon Bhai Singh of Nishkam Sevak Jatha to hand over the Kirpan to the Right Honourable Tony Blair, Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
thank you very much indeed for announcing Mr. Hira and for introducing the
Good afternoon to everyone, and a very happy Vaisakhi to everyone who is here. I am highly honoured to welcome everyone here today to this very special celebration of the tricentenary celebration of the Khalsa, and to welcome you all to our splendid Symphony Hall right here in the heart of Birmingham. The Sikh community is valued and respected. You are in fact part of the heart and the soul of this great city. And we greatly value your contribution towards life, towards work, towards education, to every part of the life of the city. This event marks the end of this year's celebration, and it takes us rightly into the millennium, building on all our achievements and building on the achievements of every part of our community, and going forward hand in hand towards greater knowledge, justice, understanding, tolerance and affection for all parts of our community. This particular event brings together not just the Sikh community, but other parts and other people from Birmingham life. And it is very important that we all come together to celebrate, and to celebrate together. At the moment, we are going through troubled times. It makes me very angry on behalf of all the citizens of Birmingham that there is a minority who would seek to wreck, seek to destroy not only people's lives, but to destroy the respect and understanding that we've all worked very hard to build upon in this city. In these troubled times, it is very important that everyone who lives, who works in Birmingham, should support each other and should ensure that we fight racism, and we fight those people who would seek to destroy our relationships and who would seek to put community against community. We all need to stand together, arm in arm, to make sure that we fight anybody who would want to wreck the citizens, the lives of the citizens of Birmingham. Thank you again for giving me the honour of welcoming you all here today. I would like to thank on your behalf everyone who has put so much hard work into these tremendous celebrations. Celebration of 300 years of the Khalsa. A worthy event to celebrate.
Vaisakhi ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi ki fateh. इस महान शुभ दिहाड़े खालसा की साजना की 300 साला अवसर मनाने वास्ते असी अपार गुना की बख्शिशां दे करके एकत्रित हुए हैं। समूह सिख संगत नूं, सिख जगत नूं लख लख बधाई होवे। I have been asked to say something about the Sikh vision. What is vision? That is the first main question. Vision is that when a seer, a prophet, a person of very deep and profound insight articulates and envisions the future of the humanity, that's what a vision is. And this vision we have inherited. And this inheritance, this wonderful inheritance, this priceless inheritance has been bequeathed to us by our 10 founding fathers, starting with Guru Nanak Sahib to Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. And ultimately and everlastingly, it is enshrined in Sri Guru Granth Sahib. My dear children, the children youthful Khalsa, the children of the Guru, never refer to Guru Granth Sahib as a book. It is not a book, it's our Guru. That is the only spiritual source that a Sikh's head holds. With total dedication, with total humility, with total affection and love. How can you call that a book? Our so-called know-all modern day writers glibly, ignorantly refer to Sri Guru Granth Sahib as a book. It is not a book. It is our Guru. And if you are going to call it a book, then there is a logical contradiction. Sort it out. Now what is this vision? What is this beautiful vision that Gurus have given us? That we are in Birmingham, in England, USA, Australia, all the world over. We are celebrating this day. This mighty event which gave us the birth, and as the Prime Minister referred to, that it has made us into a nation. Actually, it's a triple celebration. The foundation of the Khalsa, the birth of a nation, and the birth of a new people, a new spirit. एक नवा युग शुरू हो जाता है. Never mind the classical and mythological charge. What I am saying is that साडे गुरु साहिबान ने they started, initiated एक नवा युग. But the tragedy is that we have not realized its true significance and importance. खालसा की जागरण की दौड़ है. ऐसा बड़ा विरसा होए, ऐसा अमीर विरसा होए, और इस विरसे का जड़े है, वो असी मालिक होइए, साडी झोली च कुरान ने पाया होए, ते जे असी अनगहली दे नाल सानू पता ही ना होवे, ये लाल बोलनी विच लुकिया रहे, then that is not fair. It is totally unfair. So I was talking about this vision because I only have got another 6 or 7 minutes. That this vision is a how to be a self-realized human being. Gurmat di sari jugat jehdi hai, it is to produce this ideal human being. I am a student of comparative religion, apart from being a sociologist and psychologist. And I have studied the scriptures, the history, the philosophy of all the major world faiths. And I can say it with conviction. All the religions are wonderful in their place. But what Sikhism has given me, what I have found in Sikhism, the faith of my forefathers, who gave so much for so many, that is matchless. That is truly unrivaled. There is no other example in any other civilization, religious tradition, culture, or whatever else there might be. So we have got to be proud of it. लेकिन एक God किस तरह उत्पन्न होता है? How can we instill this sense of pride? Oh, ज्ञान देना. We have to know our history. We have to know, familiarize ourselves about the Quran and its wonderful principles. In fact, we have gone astray. And this Vaisakhi, this mighty event, which was a revolutionary event on any count, this message has to be revived. and promulgated in our own lives, in the lives of these young Khalsa, then you can ensure, then you are doing your duty and ensuring that this wonderful tradition, this wonderful way of life, which we call Sikhism, can not only continue, but actually flourish and take its rightful place in the community of the world religions. I've just written a little pamphlet about this Vaisakhi, and I will just read you a few lines from it. What was the crux of the Vaisakhi? What was the essence of Vaisakhi? Guru Gobind Singh created a spiritual and social revolution there. In the minds and hearts of the common people, that was the miracle of the Vaisakhi, Khalsa Ji. It wasn't an ordinary event. It's not a mela. I read the paper to see that Sara Zor laga ho. But what is the essentiality of the Vaisakhi spirit and the message? Only what comes the So, Sadhe Sache Padsha, Dasam Padsha, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib created a social and spiritual revolution in the minds and hearts of the common people. He gave them a new vision, a new hope, a new sense of purpose, a new sense of destiny, and a new irrepressible self-confidence. Nishtay kar apni jeet karu, doesn't matter what the odds are, doesn't matter how formidable the foe is. Main Vaheguru asra leke, I am convinced, I have no doubt, that victory, fateh was Vaheguru. How can that nation lose? How can those people become second-class citizens? No way. If we grasp the spirit, if we instill the essence of the message of the Guru in our mentality, in our soul, in our thinking, in our conduct, in our behavior, young Khalsa, you are forever winners. You are achievers. Oh, vision hai life-affirming philosophy, not life-negating philosophy. And such a wonderful principle. A Khalsa never frightens anybody. In other words, a Khalsa is not an aggressor. No, Paramount's arms, nor does the Khalsa is afraid of anybody else. If all interlinking, if all interconnecting, let's discover, rediscover our wonderful heritage. It will make us into a new person. Once I start talking about my Guru, whom I love with my heart and soul, well, these are the honours.
And now I will ask Mansi to present the flowers to the Lord Mayor Councillor Sue Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, Sue Anderson, the Lord Mayor Councillor. Now I welcome leader of the Birmingham City Councillor, Councillor Teresa Sturge, to lead.
I'd like to begin by saying good afternoon, Sat Sri Akal. Happy Vaisakhi and congratulations on tricentenary celebrations of the birth of the Khalsa. And thank you very much for inviting me to this international convention at this magnificent Symphony Hall. I know Vaisakhi is a very important time for the Sikh community. This is the 6th year that I have attended the Vaisakhi celebrations here in Birmingham. I have attended in sun and in rain, and now we have our indoor celebration. It is the most important Sikh seasonal festival, celebrating the harvest and remembering the birth of the Khalsa in 1699, and of course 1999 is of particular importance as it marks the tricentenary celebrations of the time when Guru Gobind Singh created the Khalsa 300 years ago. While many of you have come from different parts of the country, and indeed some of you from India itself, I am proud to speak from the City Council of Birmingham. We have in Birmingham a Sikh community which has played a full and important part in the life here. The economic, business, social, cultural, spiritual, and political life of this city. And indeed, we have at the moment 3 city councillors, Labour councillors from the Sikh community. Serving at the moment, Councillor Gurdev Nanku, Councillor Shaman Lal, and Councillor Jagdeep Ray. And I'm particularly proud that we have a woman among them. It shows the equality among the Sikh community, and that is a very important part of your contribution to the life of all of us. I hope you all enjoyed this year's festivities. There's been a wide range: Bhangra dancing, martial arts, hockey, football, kabaddi, a fun fair and children's entertainment. I myself was most moved by the singing that happened earlier today. The children, the young people, and all of you taking part. As you're aware, Birmingham is renowned for its multicultural diversity, and the City Council recognises the rich and distinct nature of the Sikh culture. We are a democratic society, and the Sikh community is committed to the democratic way of life. We totally reject those people who try by violence to impose their distorted and vile views, and we will all work together to reject that view of life and to work in harmony together. I want particularly to say thank you to the chair of the Tricentenary Celebration Committee, Mr. Hira, and the Council of Sikh Guruwaras for allowing me to wish you well for your further celebrations this year and in all future years here in Birmingham. Thank you.
Wonderful, wasn't it? Very I must stop. By inviting me here. I really am very honoured to this 300th anniversary of the Khalsa and to represent my family and forebears. I'm not really very good at speaking in public, and And there are an awful lot of you out there. It really is quite impressive. It's terrific. I'll talk to you first about my great-great-grandfather. Oh no, I can't move away from that, can I? I can't hear. It's a long way. It is. I'd like to talk first about my great-great-great-grandfather, because although I'm a descendant of the Lord Lawrence, Alexander Lawrence was an Irishman, and he was orphaned at the age of 10 in Londonderry, and signed up with the British Army at the age of 17, went to India, bought a petition when he was 4 years later, and he was wounded at Seringapatam and returned to England in 1980, which means that I've got 175 years of relatives in India, which is quite good. He finished his service at Ostend, actually, which sounds rather a strange place to end up. But it's fascinating because he was there in 1915 when Wellington fought the Battle of Waterloo. And he asked if he could go and fight at it. And Wellington said no, they wanted a good man who had experience in case the whole thing went wrong. But it didn't, so he didn't have to do that. Anyway, much more important. In 1809, he was stationed with his regiment in Richmond in Yorkshire. And the 8th child of his family was born, and that was my great-great-grandfather, John Lawrence. He had 6 sons altogether and 2 daughters. And he was schooled in England, went to Haileybury at the end of it, and in those days jobs were very hard to find, and 5 brothers went to India. We had Sir Henry, who was in Lucknow and becomes Sir Henry Lawrence of Lucknow. The youngest one, my great-great-grandfather. But we also had Henry, as I said, Henry, John, Patrick, George, and Richard. George had was an elder brother, and he had run in with Sikhs at some stage quite early in his career. But he actually won that particular tiff. And having won that particular tiff, 10 years later, he had another one at the beginning of what was then the First Sikh Wars. And there he was beaten by the Sikhs, and they captured him. And I think it's really quite wonderful, because it said that he was told he wasn't a prisoner of war. He was an honoured guest, because 10 years before he'd been perfectly fair to them, and they'd like to be fair to him on this occasion, which I think is a very nice, silly story, really. My particular relative and Henry were in what was then called the Northwest Frontier Territory, and they really governed from Lahore all the way through to Delhi. And although they were involved in building at Lahore, because Henry was ill, and he came back to England a number of times, and they were there together. And it was quite late in his career when Lord Hardinge left, and to India came Lord Dalhousie as the Governor General. And after the Sikh Wars and the mutiny, and the mutiny occurred and John was governing the Northwest, and the Northwestern Sikhs didn't rise at that stage, so that is why India remained British. So he was in high esteem then with the British, but also with the Sikh and the Indian population. He then went back to England, having finished that, and finished as the Governor General, and was made a Lord. He then got sent back to India, where he was made the Viceroy, which I think is really quite a story, and I hope I haven't compressed it too much, because what you have, the son of an Irish orphan, who was born a first-generation Englishman, and ended up as Viceroy of India. I think he's a pretty good track record, if you want a better word. I don't know what to say. I think he was very good. But he did get on terribly well with the Sikhs and signed all Sikh treaties at the beginning. And the great thing about his Sikh treaty is that Dalhousie, when he came to Lahore after the mutiny, said that the Sikhs should be disarmed. And the Lawrence family, and they did it as a whole, fought very hard that the Sikhs should not be disarmed. They should be introduced into the Indian army, which is what happened, and I think an absolutely marvellous move, because the upshot of that is that the British Army and the Indian Army during the last two wars in this country have had a vast amount of help from the Asian community, particularly the Sikhs, when during the, well, I've got figures here and I'm going to get them wrong. In the First World War, I think it was 1.4 million Asians actually volunteered, and this is a voluntary army, not a conscripted army, to join the British Army and fight in the First World War. In the Second World War, it was 2.8 million, which is absolutely terrific. I think there were about 36,000 of this group killed. And amongst them also were 30 VCs won. And of those 30 VCs, which is, as you know, the highest honour that the British Army can bestow, the first one was the Second Lieutenant Parminder Singh Bharat. And after that, a third of them were won, 9 of them I think it is, which is a third, which I think is a terrific record. There's now a scheme which I think is good, that they are wanting to build a war memorial to the Asian community in these wars. And they found a wonderful site at the end of Constitution Hill and Hyde Park. And they're going to build a set of gates there on which the names, presumably, of the Sikh refugees. Because of the Millennium Trust, they said that it has to include other people as well. But it's basically an Indian war memorial. And it's absolutely terrific. If anyone wishes to give money to it and the rest of it, Lady Flower in the House of Lords would love to have some. Because it's going to cost an awful lot of money. I know the Millennium Fund is giving half of it, but it's up and running and off the ground.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। सब तो पहला तो मैं अपने आप को आज धन होया समझना कि गुरु महाराज ने कितनी अपार कृपा की है कि मैं आप सब संगत के दर्शन कर और उहदे नाल इस गल का मान भी कितना वड्डा है कि मैं आज जो असी खालसा सिरजना 300 साल मना रहे हैं, मैं उस यूनिवर्सिटी का वाइस चांसलर होना नसीब होया कितने चंगे कर्म ने जिहड़ी खालसा कौम के सिख कौम के धर्म के बानी गुरु नानक देव जी के नाल जुड़ी हुई है। सो गुरुद्वारे साध संगत जी, ladies and gentlemen, the theme I am sharing with you is education vis-a-vis Khalsa community and in the next millennium. We all are aware that the challenges of the 21st century, the education of the modern youth, has become a subject of serious concern for the educationists. Education is a lifelong process of learning. Gaining education and developing the power of reasoning, skill and wisdom. After who is a Sikh? Sikh is a learner. Sikh is a person who continues to pursue the learning process. So, by very definition, I would say, the Sikh continues to learn all throughout his life, and that he will be surprise is perhaps the modern slogan of education of today, that lifelong education should be a dimension with any nation progressing today. So what a wonderful definition, I would say, that the great gurus gave to us since we came into existence. Thus, a Sikh is a disciple in the arena of the world, ever engaged in the process of learning. I would like here also to recall that Guru Gobind Singh Ji had deputed 5 of baptized Sikhs to go to Varanasi. The purpose was only a very sacred purpose: go and learn the wisdom of India, whatever is there. And not only this much, the nomenclature he gave them was the Nirmal, which meant a person who gets education, receives education, is devoid of all evil. So thus, you can well imagine the importance that great Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave to education, and he has used the word Gyan ki Badni, meaning thereby that the sword of knowledge is more powerful than any other sword. Thus, the point I am trying to emphasize is that Sikh by birth, Sikh by definition, Sikh by nature, Sikh by blood is a learner throughout, and his role is to become a better person, be a doctor, a better doctor, an engineer, a better engineer, a student, a better engineer. And you can well imagine Guru Gobind Singh Ji, when gave Khande ki Pahul to 5 of his disciples, Panch Pyare, then basically he was transferring the mastership to his beloved 5 Pyares. What a wonderful situation that a guru is transferring his mastership to the students and in turn receiving the character of the learners, the students. I mean, such a humility is only to be seen in this religion. In this context, a question which definitely arises is that when we are talking of the next millennium, are we going to have a different type of education? Isn't it like boy in the Europe, the boy in Asia, the boy in America needs the latest education? It's a similar education which is needed. You cannot say a boy of an Asia would need a different type of education, because the role of modern media and technology, the internet, the information technology is so powerful and tremendous that we just cannot escape the pressure of this force of, I would say, the information technology that is coming our way. Now, in such a scenario, evidently we have to prepare our youth for the best education in the days ahead. I am pretty sure if we fail to reap the harvest well in time, we are going to lag behind. So this is the moment when we need to be ready for the next millennium challenges of education which are confronting us. But then the question basically arises that today there is a crisis, and such a powerful crisis that we have lost our values, we are emotionally insecure, we are psychologically insecure, we have fear psychosis and whatnot. There is a great mental turmoil within us, and to come out of that, we essentially need a Khalsa model of education, which I would like to say in few words, keeping in view the paucity of time. But I like to give some pointers here and there. I go back to the child and to Gobind Singh Ji. I am creating a scene before you. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is put to martyrdom, and his head is brought by Rangreta to Guruji. Guruji embraces Rangreta, and then the line used is Rangreta Guru da Beta. It has a deep meaning. It's not merely a line. Who is a beta? Who is a son? Who performed the last rites of the dead parents? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji that day virtually declared that he was not the son of Guru Tegh Bahadur, but Rangreta was the son of Guru Tegh Bahadur, because it is he who has brought all reverence, the head of the Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji for the performance of the last rites. But this said, he created a situation which said, for all time to come, said there's nobody who's a low-caste person, there's nobody with a high caste, and the baker is the one who does the job performance. I think it was this dream fulfillment when he had invited people from all over the country in 1699 to come to Anandpur Sahib, and people who came forward to offer the life, to offer themselves for any sacrifice. Before Guru Gobind Singh Ji's message was 5 persons coming from different parts of the country, belonging to different castes, and in turn, Guru gave them the, I would say, the lakab, the sing, that everybody amongst you is I would say a saint soldier is like a loin, but loin who is a saint also. Another parameter which I would like to share with you is when we look to the coronation, I'll only take 2 lines of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Khalsa Akal Purukh ki Fauj. Khalsa Akal Purukh ki Fauj. On this parameter, I like to bring a thesis that Khalsa was when created did not mean an army of an individual, did not mean an army of a king, but meant the army of God. What did it signify? It merely meant that Khalsa is created to uphold the value system given by God. And for this he will be always ready. And Khalsa, Akal Purukh ki Fauj, meant thereby when Khalsa was created, God was in maximum bliss. He was maximum joy while he had created Khalsa. So such a situation is another parameter which I would like to share with you. Then another very important character of Guru Gobind Singh Ji is a reference to Bhai Kanhaiya Ji. He said to Bhai Kanhaiya Ji, I don't go in for that long description, but the crux of the point that go and use not only the water but also the medicine to the wounded persons. Who does it to the enemies? At that time, when the man was savage, only the Vaisakhi instinct was the dominant him, but the Guru gave a message that there is no person who is an enemy. Because if you look to the lines of Bhai Kanhaiya Ji, he said, when I look to a soldier dying on the battlefield, the reflection which I get from him is Guru Gobind Singh Ji. What does it mean? That could Khalsa have an enemy? Essentially not. But why not? For the simple reason, Khalsa is nothing but a Akal Purukh ki Fauj. It is when there is a threat to the value system given by the God himself that we really treat it. And then I would like to share another very important line, Manas ki jaat sabay ke pehchan ho, but when I put to the translation, I would not like to go in for the literal meaning, but if you look deep, the only way we are identifiable is our nomenclature as human beings. Our nomenclature is human beings, that we are known as Manas ki jaat sabay eke pehchan ho, the only way we can be identified. So Guru gave a message that there is nobody like Muslim, Jews, Christians, but he said everybody on the earth is a human being, and that alone is its nomenclature, that alone is
ਸਮਾਗਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਮੈਂ 10 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਮਨੁੱਖੀ ਅਧਿਕਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਬੋਲਾਂਗਾ और बोलांगा अंग्रेजी So far as Sikh religion is concerned, I think Sikhism is synonymous with human rights and human rights protection. In 15th century, when Guru Nanak brought his preachings before the people, at that point of time, there was gross violation of human rights going on all around. Guru Nanak took notice of only that, and he tried to vindicate the violations of the human rights as much as he possibly can. And finally, he established a religion which has been entrusted with the sole responsibility, if I should say, of protecting the human rights of people. As the Prime Minister of this country just about 2 hours back said, that Sikh religion is created towards establishing or creating a just social order in the world. The Sikh philosophy is very simple. There is no complication in it. Sikhs believe in oneness of God and universal brotherhood of man. That is all. These are the two pillars on which the Sikh religion stands. Sikhs, further down, do not believe in dichotomy of universe and God. It is not necessary in Sikhism, rather it is prohibited to renounce the world in pursuit of God. No. You have to find God, find your moksha, find your satisfaction right in this world, right here. And for that purpose, the only thing what you have to do is to serve the humanity. That is all. It's not merely a Sikh is required to lead a wholesome life, wholesome family life. If a Sikh has to find his moksha, his God in the humanity, then the only way to do is to see that the human rights of the people are protected. So far as the modern world has seen, it has only 50 years back that the Declaration of Human Rights, the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights, was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 10, 1948. Different varieties, almost covering every field, was brought into that. Human rights, in fact, are those rights to which the man becomes entitled to on birth. These rights are not to be given by any sovereign or by any states. Rather, these are the rights which are violated by the states. Wherever there is a power, the power is being kept by taking away the rights of the people. I am sorry to say that even in the land of the Gurus, in Punjab, there has been gross violation of human rights from 1980 to 1994, 1995 onwards. Thousands of people were deprived of their liberty without any reason and without any justification. If in a state where the Sikh religion, which is the protector of the human right, is all permissive, if there is a gross violation of the human rights and nothing could be done, then what is the plight of the world today? You see all around what is happening. There is a violation of human rights, whether it is Bosnia, whether it is India, where it was all over, it is a violation. And the Sikh religion is the most relevant link today for the purposes that the university is most relevant. I was thinking that probably we could be in a position to persuade the United Nations to adopt this year, tercentenary years, as the Sarvat Ka Bhara year so far as the university is concerned. There is no reason. It is only Sikhism where a Sikh every day, morning and evening, he prays and seeks Sarvat Ka Bhala, welfare of all people in the world. It's only a Sikh who does it every day in the morning and evening. And then, if you go into that, if you look into these Sikh concepts, are all tuned and trained in such a way that it is only towards protection of the human rights. Our doctrines of Sangat and Pangat, these two doctrines have totally obliterated so far as the discrimination is concerned. Now Sangat is a congregation of people. They sit together to have spiritual peace. They sit either in a religious place or anywhere. In that congregation, everyone is permitted. Whether he is Sikh, Muslim, Hindu, or whosoever he is. Rather, in the time of our Gurus, all those who were untouchables and all those who were castigated by the society, they were welcomed. They were asked to come and sit in the Sangat. That is how the discrimination on the ground of sex, creed, sex, religion, etc. was totally obliterated by our Guru. Similarly, Pangat. Pangat is a gathering, partaking free food, langar. In the langar, everyone, this is the basic. In Guru's time, nobody could meet the Guru without taking langar. And in langar, everyone, high and low, they all would sit at the same place and eat the langar, the food prepared by community in a joint manner. See? All 6 doctrines and concepts which are being worshipped by the Sikhs, they are only towards one direction, and that is the humanity must be served. There should be a total equality in the humanity. There should not be, nobody should be oppressed, and they all should be helped so far as the acceptance of the human rights is concerned. Now, as we go on, our concept of Miri, it was the 6th Guru who brought this concept of Miri. When it was seen what is Miri, is the playing the role of a prophet. It's a role of a Miri, the role of sort of a secular government. Miri, the role of a prophet. These two were combined under the Sikh religion. They were blended, and the purpose of blending was only this, that it is not possible to protect the human rights of the people unless the two are combined. The two was combined as a Miri concept was there. It continued, went on. Finally came the order of the Khalsa. It was a glorious moment in the history of India when Guru Gobind Singh picked up 5 souls and blew in them the fire of faith. He created saint soldiers. At that time, it became necessary. It became necessary. He could visualize that the human rights cannot be protected unless he have an army of saint soldiers and unless he permits his soldiers to use the sword or the arm as a last resort. Sword in the hand of a Khalsa, hands of a Sikh, was not like a knife in the hand of the butcher. No. The sword in the hand of a Khalsa was like a knife in the hands of a surgeon who has to perform an operation and cut the cancerous part away. This is why this was what Guru Gobind Singh did. And don't forget that Sikh religion did not only preach, it acted also. The amount of sacrifices which have been made by our Gurus have never been made by anybody. And that was all for the protection of human rights. Now take for example, Guru Tegh Bahadur. There was no danger to the religion of Guru Tegh Bahadur at that time. If he was not being asked to accept Islam, it was somebody else. The Hindus who were being asked to accept Islam, and Guru Tegh Bahadur sacrificed his life for the sake. It is Guru Tegh Bahadur who is the apostle, who is the prophet, who is the leader, who gave this world the right to religion and right to conscience. It is in our constitution also. This is Guru Tegh Bahadur. So our prophets, our gurus showed the way to the people that we are ready to sacrifice for this also. Thereafter, Guru Gobind Singh, his 4 Sahibzadas, and our Sikh history is full of sacrifice, and that is all nothing but for this protection of the human rights. So I say, our religion today is the most relevant religion for the purposes of the world. If a good, true social order has to be established in the world, then we must carry the message all over and everywhere. It's a very simple religion. We are trying to complicate it for no reason, nothing of the sort. After all, our concepts of Sarvatra Bharat, our concept of Miri Piri, our concept of one God, our concept of universal brotherhood of man, these are all towards one direction only, and that is the uplift of humanity. We have to serve the humanity. A Sikh is not to go to the jungle to get God. No, he has to live in this world, right here. Live a perfect family life. And while living that, he has to achieve or attain God. That is the message our Gurus gave us, and I think this is most relevant for the modern world. Time is very short. I have been asked to be brief. I think I have had my say. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Satsanga Ji, because you are a Sangha today, and Mr. President Ji, my Lord Mayor Ji, I put Satsanga Ji first. I'm sure that would be the right way round for the community before the hierarchy. Very important. The teaching of Guru Nanak. I bring you a message today, a message of good wishes, a message of goodwill, a message of love from your friends of the Christian community. There is a song, you know, that somebody taught me when I first went to Punjab. 1968, I first visited the Harmandir Sahib, the Darbar Sahib, the Golden Temple, and I stayed from the counterpart. And the word of the Sikhs, their deep tradition, their suffering, particularly the martyrdom of the 5th Guru Arjan Dev and the 9th Guru Tegh Bahadur, were deeply moving to anyone of any religion. And when I made my first visit to Darbar Sahib, I was given a little gift, a little tohfa, and it was your very special colour. And I keep it with me. Sometimes I wear it, sometimes I just keep it, because know, you know how deeply symbolic it is, one of the 5 Ks Guru Gobind Singh. But the very holy person, Chaman Singh, who gave this to me as a little tofa, he said, and I just want to share this with you because it is the message, I think. He said it stands for 3 things. Not only is it a complete circle, complete unity, standing for the meaning of God, Ikonkar, and that is the central, if I may say this, the central truth of the whole Sikh community, the Sikh faith. There is only one God. And that is so deep in all human history, all human yearning of the spirit. There is only one God at the heart of all things. And because there is only one God, as Mr. Justice G has said to us, 2 other things spring from the unity of God. This colour represents 3 unities. The unity of God, the unity of the whole human family. I believe that with all my heart, and you as the Sikh community across the world make the rest of the world believe it. You make us take it seriously. The unity of the whole human family. That is so precious. It's always at risk, always in danger, but is always an ideal. And the 3rd unity, because Ikonkar is at the center and the humanity is next to it, the 3rd unity is the unity of the whole world. The world cannot be broken into pieces and segments. Every single part depends on the other. Therefore, as somebody who if somebody suffers, every person suffering affects me. And this is the way in which we have to behave as one world. And we're getting more and more deeply aware of it, with war and rumours of war and suffering alive to us on the television day by day. So the Khalsa message, the message of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh is this message of unity, the unity of God, Ikonkar. It was at the heart of the message of Guru Nanak that he took the Hindu principles, as Justice has been explaining to us, the Hindu principles of Nirguna Sadhana. God as he is in himself, God as he is in his community, the essential unity of God in the world, because God made it. So my message is one of love for you and rejoicing and happiness with you on this great, great Vaisakhi, 300 years. How proud you all are, and how proud we are to have you in our city and communities, and to know that at the heart of the Sikh faith there is such unity to share with the rest of the world.
Vaisakhi ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi ki Fateh. Lord Mayor and President Jaswant Singh Hira and his eminent guests, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm quite happy to make it 60 seconds because it is only fair that those who travel further get a longer period to talk about their thoughts. Indeed, being on sort of tail end of the speaking spectrum, a lot of the things I had in relation to context have already been said, so it's quite useful not to repeat them. But there is an important point which I would like to make, which having to do some research for this speech, I came across a thesis by T. Kaur, who's from Punjab University, who's done an analysis, who's done a thesis on the Sikh religion and economic development. And as an economic development practitioner, I found that very interesting. And what she's done is she's taken the key tenets of Sikhism, the main tenets, and identified how these have contributed or did contribute by unleashing through these teachings in northern India and inculcating a group of people who then transformed that whole part of India. And the way that contributed to their dispersal around the world. And indeed in the UK we have a tremendous Sikh contribution. Much has been made in these celebrations about Sikh military contribution to various wars. But I would urge that the transition from military professionals which took the Sikhs first all over the world to business and commerce was very swift and remarkable. And in the UK, although we do not have disaggregated community-based statistics, it can be surmised that the labour force surveys suggest that the Indian community has one of the highest levels of self-employment and business formation in this country. 27% for males compared to 16% for the host population, and 10% for women compared to 8% for all women. And mindful that Sikhs form one of the highest proportions within that class of Indians, one can conclude the significance of the Sikh contribution. And likewise, the other point I would like to make, mindful of my colleague on the left, is the institutional conduct which Justice Gulli Singh has touched on, such as Sangat, Kirtan, Langar, focusing always on equality. For example, gurus emphasizing women's roles and rights by preaching against prevalent practices of the time of sati, female infanticide and parda, according full religious, political, social and economic rights which exist in the scriptures. Nevertheless, as minorities, wherever we are, old practices still prevail, and in fact, Mrs. Kaur identifies that it is those old practices we need to try and get rid of. But in this country, for example, Indians, according to the policy studies research, have moved into the category of the highest income earners in this country. This, I am certain, is in no small measure attributed to the increasing participation of Sikh women in education and economic activity. To conclude, I was told to be brief, on the note that not all are rich and successful, and we need to keep an eye on the Panchakana, and efforts need to continue for those who have not made it, Sikh or otherwise. The greater heights we achieve, we should commit ever-increasing effort and resources to become a positive force towards making this world a spiritually and materially a better place to live in, and to live up to what we say every day in our prayers, Guru Nanak Naam, Chaddi Kala, Tere Paaya, Sarbat.
Now, I would like to now invite Vaisakhi Bhavinder Singh Ji to the lectern, as well as General Secretary Mon Singh, and also the Chairman Sir Jaswant Singh Hira. Three of them will thank the congregation, thank all the performers, thank all our guests, and do some honors. And after that, Chairman will wind up and conclude, and the final item will be Toll Foundation. They are waiting outside for us. Lord Mayor, Councillor Susan Anderson, to receive the honour from the Council of Budva. And now, Vice Chancellor Dr. Harbhajan Singh Soj. And I would like to invite Professor Ajay Pal Singh Aujla to receive the honour of Vice of Education. And now I would like to invite Sarabjit Singh Soul to receive the honour. Now I would like to invite the Council of Sikh Gurdwara, prominent staff, to come and receive the honour, Mr. Jagdev Singh. And I would like to ask Sir Santokh Singh Saran to come near the stage also to receive his honor. Maybe if he gets in this outside, we will preserve his gift. And of course, Chairman will thank all the Gurdwara Council staff and workers and all the colleagues in a second. And I would like to now thank Vaisakhi, Monsingh and other colleagues for the cooperation and support. And now I would like to ask the Chairman, Sir Jaswant Singh Hira, to conclude the program by thanking everyone and of course all the colleagues and guests. Sir Jaswant Singh Hira.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਦਾਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਈਸੈਂਟਨਰੀ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਸਰੋਤਿਆਂ ਦਾ, ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ, ਸਾਡੇ ਬੁਲਾਰੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਜਿੰਨੇ ਉਹ ਕਦਮ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿਰ ਮੱਥੇ ਤੇ, ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਹੀ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੀ 300 ਸਾਲਾ ਸ਼ਤਾਬਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ जो हिस्सा पाया है, दास के पास लफ्ज नहीं हैं जिस नाल आप सारे का धन्यवाद किया जाए। आप जी ने तन मन धन के नाल 300 साल देश हिस्सा पाया है। वाहिगुरू सच्चे पातशाह की अरदास है, सच्चे पातशाह अपने गुरसिੱਖੀ जीवन चढ़ती कला वाला जीवन बख्शिश करें।
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the tour through 530 years of Sikh history and to the tricentenary of the birth of the Khalsa. With the constant influx of new people, ideas and technologies, people of the Punjab developed a character and culture that were open and progressive. Elsewhere in India, during the 9th and 10th centuries, there was a great struggle between the followers and exponents of Hinduism and Buddhism. And despite the overwhelming advantages that Buddhism could bring to the Indian masses, the higher caste Hindus were determined to hold on to their status through fire and trickery. Buddhism was driven out of India, and the Hindu society set up their own gods and goddesses and began to worship their stone images. The Hindu priests reduced the religion to a mockery of performing rites and rituals and superstitious ceremonies devoid of any sense and meaning. The Hindu society was overridden with caste system. The religion became the privilege only of the upper classes called the Brahmins. For the Muslim invaders, from the 11th century to the Mughals of the 16th century at the time of Guru Nanak, the Punjab was a gateway to India. All these Muslim invaders massacred men, women and children without mercy, plundering their homes, desecrated and demolished their temples, and robbed the wealth of these temples. Many Hindus were converted to Islam either by reason or by sword. Nobles, scholars, Sufis, poets and philosophers who came along with these invaders settled in various parts of India, and they laid the foundation of Indo-Muslim culture in the country. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born in 1469. Guru Nanak revealed that there is one and only one God, one creator for all of the creation. This supreme being does not exist in any human or animate form. The creator exists within all creation, and each human carries a spark of this divine light. Consequently, no race, no gender, no citizen is intrinsically superior to another. Guru Nanak emphasized the ethical life of a householder, partaking in the married life within the society of believers and non-believers alike, as the path for salvation for a human being. A life rooted in honest labor, sharing one's resources, and meditation of one and the only Creator is a bedrock of the Sikh faith.
Japji Sahib Ek Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhav Nirvair Akal Murth Ajuni Saivan Gur Prasad Jap Aad Sach Jugaad Sach Hai bhi Sach Nanak Hosi bhi Sach.
Guru Angad went through a spontaneous conversion on meeting Guru Nanak and became the second Sikh Guru in 1539. Guru Angad popularized the Gurmukhi script introduced by Guru Nanak. He broke the Brahmin's monopoly of learning by encouraging all sorts of people to learn Gurmukhi. He gathered the facts about Guru Nanak's life and wrote the first biography of Guru Nanak Dev. He also set up religious centers where the principles of Sikhism could be propagated. Guru Angad extended Langar, the free kitchen, and personally looked after the serving arrangements. Langar was intended to break caste barriers and social taboos. Langar made people of different castes sit in a line on the same platform and so provided a healthy forum for charity and service. Guru Amar Das came to the succession at the age of 73. Guru Amar Das paid serious attention to the propagation of Sikhism. He appointed a devout Sikh in charge of 22 geographical regions. The Guru also trained a number of travelling missionaries who spread the message of Sikhism to other parts of India. In order to bring Sikhs closer together, he fixed 3 events: Diwali, Vaisakhi and Maghi, when all could assemble for religious conference. Guru Amar Das explained that the householder's life was indeed the best life because it offered the easiest way for the common person for remembrance of God, sharing of food and income, and honest living. Guru Amar Das was very friendly with the Emperor Akbar. The Emperor was much impressed by the universal message of Sikhism. Guru Amar Das, in tradition of Guru Nanak, tested his disciples, and in Guru Ram Das he found his successor. Guru Ram Das was installed as the Guru at the age of 40. He put missionary work on a sound basis and sent Sikhs to different parts of North India to propagate the message of Sikhism. Guru Ram Das was keen on giving a suitable centre of worship to the Sikhs. He developed the land purchase from local landowners and established a new township called Ramdaspur. Many Sikhs settled in the new town because it was situated in trade routes. The city was subsequently called Amritsar. Guru Ram Das was an exceptional example of humility and piety. The Guru's mission spread quickly among the poor and the rich. Guru Ram Das laid down a Sikh code of conduct, and he composed, among other things, the Sikh marriage ceremony. In 1581, he declared that Arjun, his youngest son, should be installed as the 5th Guru. Guru Arjan was in his teens when he was installed as the Guru. He developed Amritsar as a centre of industry and culture for the Sikhs. He requested a Muslim to lay the foundation stone of the Harmandir, the Temple of God. This is now known as the Golden Temple. Guru Arjan felt that Sikhs should have their own scripture. He collected the hymns of the first 12 Gurus and of various Indian saints. He dictated the hymns, including his own, to Bhai Gurdas and completed the compilation of the Adi Granth in 1604. Guru Arjan was a man of the people and wielded great influence. His growing power and prestige aroused the jealousy of the Emperor Jahangir. He asked Guru Arjan to change parts of the Granth Sahib to include specific praises of the Prophet Muhammad. The Guru refused to do so. Tortures like pouring boiling water on him and throwing burning sand on the Guru were carried out. Guru Arjan bore all these tortures with great resignation. After nominating his son Hargobind as his successor, the Guru was taken to the river bank. His body was then thrown into the river as a final torture. He was the first martyr in Sikh history. Guru Hargobind's father was a victim of the Mughal tyranny. The Mughal rulers wanted to break the power of the Sikhs, and Guru Hargobind organized a band of soldiers and trained them in warfare. Guru Hargobind in 1606 built the Akal Takht as the seat of temple authority for the Sikhs in front of the Golden Temple, which reflected the spiritual authority. Guru Hargobind expanded the saint soldier ethic of a Sikh, and he organized armed resistance against the tyranny unleashed by the Mughals. He built the first fort and fought battles against the forces of the Muslim governors of the region. His message was the ethical discipline of the brave, the soldier for the righteous path, affirming the freedom and justice of the saint. Guru Hargobind's career marked the turning point in Sikh history. Due to the new circumstances, Sikhism was becoming more militant. The Guru carried 2 swords, one for spiritual power, Piri, and the other for military power, Miri. The Sikhs challenged the Mughal power and raised the banner of revolt against cruel and corrupt administration. Guru Har Rai was installed as the Guru at the age of 14. Guru Har Rai was a man of peace and love. He was fond of serving the congregation, and he urged his followers to meditate on the hymns of the Guru Granth Sahib and to lead a life of self-discipline. Guru Har Rai tried to isolate himself from the intrigues of the Mughal court. He was a man of great charity and generosity, and he loved his congregation and helped them at times of need. Guru Har Krishna was called to assume the responsibilities of leadership of the Sikh community at the age of 5. Guru Har Krishna was a genius and showed extraordinary talents for his age. In response to the wishes of his followers, the Guru went to Delhi, where he started a mission of healing the sick. During the time of Guru Tegh Bahadur, some Kashmiri Hindus who were being forced to accept Islam came to the Guru at Nandpur. The Guru agreed to sacrifice his life for the protection of Hindus. The Hindu Pandits sent a message to the Emperor Aurangzeb that if Guru Tegh Bahadur accepted Islam, they would follow his example. Emperor Aurangzeb ordered the imprisonment of Guru Tegh Bahadur. He told him either to accept Islam or to show a miracle. The Guru refused to do either. Aurangzeb ordered the execution of the Guru. Guru Tegh Bahadur's martyrdom is unique in that he gave life not for the preservation of Sikhism, but to protect the Hindu religion. Guru Gobind Singh was installed as the 10th Guru at the age of 9, soon after the martyrdom of his father. He knew that difficult times were ahead, particularly struggling against the Mughal imperialism. He made preparations to meet the Mughal challenge by training his disciples in the art of warfare. Some of the achievements to Guru Gobind Singh's credit are that he dealt a crushing blow to the Mughal power. He created the Khalsa movement. He produced huge amounts of spiritual and martial literature. He installed the Adi Granth as the Guru Granth Sahib and the perpetual Guru of the Sikhs. On Vaisakhi Day in April 1699, Guru Gobind Singh convened a special congregation to create the order of the Khalsa. The creation of the Khalsa marked the culmination of about 240 years of training given by the 10 Gurus to their Sikhs. The Guru wanted to create ideal people who would combine devotion and strength, bhakti and shakti. He combined charity with a sword in the image of his Sikh. The Khalsa was to be a saint, a soldier and a scholar with high moral and excellent character. The combination of virtue and courage is the strength of the Khalsa. Guru Gobind Singh gave the Khalsa the unique identity, the 5 Ks. The psyche of the Sikh was now complete. There were 5 elements to it. Ek Onkar, Naam Japo, Vand Chakra, Kirt Karo, and Raj Karega Khalsa. Before Guru Gobind Singh finished his earthly journey, he realized that the priestly classes were getting corrupt. He told his followers that the entire collective wisdom was now in the Guru Granth Sahib, and they should regard the Holy Scripture as their living Guru. The Sikhs bow only to the Guru Granth Sahib, and any member of the congregation, male or female, reads it. There is no formal hierarchy of priests. The Granth Sahib consists of 1,430 pages in Gurmukhi. It is adorned like an emperor or a king holding court, whether in the Gurdwara or at the home. Most religious activities of Sikhs focus upon and revolves around the Holy Scripture. The congregation sits facing the Guru, and all activities reflect the atmosphere of a roll call. The Sikhs, under the guidance of this Guru Khalsa month, continued their struggle for securing human rights for the weak. There were people like Banda Bahadur who established the first self-rule in India for over 800 years. During the 18th century, becoming a Sikh was against the law of the land. The Delhi government ordered that anyone who could find a Sikh and chop off his head could exchange it at a police station for about 1 year's waiting. Sikhs not only survived this elimination plan by the mighty government, but also, before the turn of the century, became the formal rulers of Punjab. Maharaja Ranjit Singh, with the guidance and help of his mother-in-law, coordinated the different units of the Panth, then called Missals, took over Lahore in 1799 and thus became the first Sikh ruler of the Punjab. The reason for the success of the Khalsa was their love for humanity and the protection they provided for everybody at the cost of their own lives. Sikhs fought alongside the Allied forces in Africa, India and Indochina sectors. In many of these campaigns, the behavior and the bravery of the Sikhs was exemplary. Many Sikhs won the Victoria Cross and other medals of bravery and service. Some Sikhs saw World War II as an opportunity to destabilize the British who were ruling India. They joined the Indian National Army and joined the Japanese in the Burma sector, amongst others. Sikhs made selfless contribution to the war effort and lived up to their psyche of saint soldiers. During the 1940s, the Sikhs made a decisive contribution in terms of winning self-rule back for India once more. Having won this freedom back, the Sikhs realized the treachery of the Indian leadership. The promises made by the Indian leadership were all broken once the partition was over and done with. In recent years, the Sikhs have had minor causes for celebration. The Sikh Brahit Maryada was a major milestone in formalizing the identity and rituals of the Sikhs. Another achievement was the Punjabi Suba in 1966. Sikhs in many ways feel that they are being held back from real progress as they do not establish a society that is truly in keeping with the word of their gurus. This, they feel, has resulted from governments that use Sikhs as pawns in election games. Various moderate demands, such as a limited degree of autonomy, more share of indigenous local resources, were unacceptable to the Indian central government. The actions of various lobby groups and demonstrations led to no results, and this had an effect of polarizing Sikh opinion. Sikhs can now be found in all parts of the world where they can try to live out their ideals in a free society. It is now that Sikhism, like other religions, faces its real test. Will it survive the consumer onslaught and the growth of the ego of individuals?